Hi guys, how are you today? Yesterday I made a new outro because I dropped my charger. I made a new outro because the other one was just temporary. But last night I was able to get a really good sunset, and I put out the video of Devious Maximus. They wouldn't use the word doobie in Suno, so I had to use Devious. But that kitten got a new freaking nickname, Dubious Maximus. And every time I see her now, even though she still goes when she meows, she's still, so she's changed from Beep Beep to Maximus. Sir Dubious Maximus. If you're going to be that bold, you're going to be a mister. Went walking around and found a place where somebody had dumped some crap in the woods, and I was like, there were 3 umbrellas laying there. One of them was red and black. So I fixed my raincoat. There's just a section of it on both sides. The one side still got the little tip on it from where I didn't cut it off of there. It's glued on both sides where the things are. I will trim around it and stuff like that. But look, I'll show you. Right there. I need to trim that off of there. I did that. I cut out a dress. I've been hand sewing the pieces. Ooh, excuse me. I haven't eaten yet this morning. I'm sounding a little allergies and stuff. I did take my bath yesterday, and I will show you. You know how I said I get all crunchy? Here's feet for you. That is all winter long, and that is from bathing. Water dries me out. Weird, but it does. My chickpeas are blossoming, and I actually have... Oh, I gotta get up. This guy actually has... Where'd it go? A bean. It's hard to see him. He actually has a bean on him. Now, I said there were 3 of them. Here's one. Here's part of the red one. And here's the 3rd one. That's dang good rain canvas. I could make a poncho out of that. I could make a lot of stuff out of that. And of course reinforce it with shugu. If I sewed that up, I could actually throw it over... Actually, one of them, because one of them's really stained up, could be used for covering up the electronics on my bike. Put it in my backpack and cover up the electronics on my bike when I sit somewhere if it rains or sprinkles or something. Well, I'll set you down for just a second. Stay. This could definitely be like a hat or something. Or, you know. So, Auntie harvested the cloth off of 3 umbrellas yesterday. I've been doing a little bit of hand sewing lately. A lot of bit of hand sewing lately. It's just different for my hands to do that than because see, I hand sewed all day yesterday, no arthritis. So I switch it up. I don't want the fan on. I switch it up a little bit, and I'm hand sewing a little bit, actually. But yeah, that one piece, wherever it went. Not the one I showed you. Well, it's got some staining on it, but that's okay. This one around where the pole went through, it's just very yuck. But it's also got a very minimal hole. And if I even took a piece of that red one, which I actually have this piece of black here, and glued it there, I mean, it's not going to cover the entire bike, but what do I need to cover the entire bike for? I just need to cover the electronics. And that's light enough to take with. Throw that in a backpack. Usually I go over to mom and dad's if it looks kind of overcast. I say, I've got to find my garage. He's got a tarp he's got set aside for me. But if I happen to be in the store or something like that, and I have to rig up like bands on it to be able to tie it around like a tarp. But I saw potential in all of that. I was like, that stuff's rainproof, right? It doesn't let the rain in when it's covering over top of you, right? Right. So, free patch. Oh. The pattern that I bought had pockets in it. Now, I've lost those, and I have no idea where it went. And I thought, halfway down sewing the side of this thing, I thought, I could easily just add pockets right here. And so what I did is I went and I traced very largely around my hand, and my needle's even hooked to it still. And hold on. And there's a pocket. Here's the... See, I got it marked on which side, because I cut 4 of them at the same time, but... Oh, there's a pocket. I thought, a dress with pockets. Yes, please. I hope it works out, because what I did is I took... actually, here's my pocket. my new pocket pattern. But I took this shirt and I just cut it in half. And I traced around it. Not traced around it, but I pinned around it. And cut a sheet into a dress. I just cut a little bit past, and I cut the back and the front. And what I got and done is, like I said, halfway down the side. And, where is it? I'm looking for it. It's hard to do with one hand, guys. And I got the neck hole all trimmed out. Now this, there's a piece in here that I noticed was cut weird, and I'm going to have to change that when I am actually sewing it. What I do is I have this basted together to make sure it fits. And I'm glad I did that, because where I did the sleeves, it did not work. So, I had to figure out a different way to fix that. Which is when I started to sew down the side a little bit longer. I mean, further away from the arm than I thought I was going to. And then use the whole thing as an armhole. So, So yeah, and then I have the edge. See, the front had the edge from the bottom of the sheet. I have it pinned together. The front already had the edge from the end of the sheet, and the back was a little bit too long, but it was a little bit too long, about as long as the other side was. So I was like, yeah, that kind of works out pretty good. So he's been sewing. It may or may not work out, and it may become a pair of pajamas with pockets. I'm trying. I'm trying, guys. Yeah. Have to be careful with this stuff. This is the elastic I got for the headbands. But I still, again, there's quite a bit on this roll. The whole roll is filled with it. So imagine how many hats I can make out of that. I got it basically because we're fair-skinned. Basically, you know. So I got that elastic, but I still need to get her head dimensions. I started because nobody likes orange. Oh, there we go. I mean, nobody likes orange in my family to wear. So, because of the time of year, I made this for bike riding. Because in November, if it's warm enough to bike ride, you have to wear orange. And if I have to bike ride on the trails, then I would be wearing orange. So I made that. And this is going to be the trim. And I think it looks like a goldfish. But again, nobody in my family really likes to wear orange. You saw my raincoat is also orange, which would be part of that outfit. So that's what I've been doing. I've been sewing and repairing things and harvesting cloth. Because you know Aunt T, you know how she harvests. Alright, I need my jump start. How I harvest yarn. Well, I do that with cloth too. That cat thing that's been hanging there is eventually, and I might take the LuLaRoe one apart just for a pattern. But that cat thing right there is going to be a robe. Or maybe a long sleeve dress. But eventually, yeah, that's going to be, I will be wearing that. I just haven't yet. Because I sit around with a piece of material for years. I mean, it can be years. Because I don't know exactly what I want to do with it. And if I cut it and then that project ends up being scrapped, that piece of material may not have been one that I could replace, and I loved it. Another thought I had was to cut it into like fat quarters or squares or something like that and turn it into a quilt. I could do that. I know how to quilt. And honestly, if you got another sheet and you took the squares, like a thinner sheet like this one that I'm using, and you took this and sewed it onto the back of each square, you could put a little cotton in there, and you got a Anyway, you've got a stuffed quilt. So I don't see why not. I could do the same thing, honestly. If I took the pattern, because they show you a pattern on how to put granny squares together to make a jacket. If I turn that into squares and I put the quilt in it, like I was just saying, I could have a jacket, a kitty jacket. So I have a few jackets I could take that I could harvest the zipper off of too. Wow. I talk about harvesting, it sounds like I'm talking about, experimenting. I sound like I'm like an alien person experimenting on people. I'm harvesting this from you. No, but what I'm actually saying, what I'm doing is taking the parts of it and using it. That Paris one has become part of another dress pattern, which I actually did cut out from the pattern. But when I started to try to sew it together, it was again too small around the armhole. So it's another project that's in progress, but I need to fix the armhole area, which I might just have to take the sleeves out, which they're the Paris ones. Darn it. And work with that and crochet some sleeves for later, because the dress part fits. I have it all basted together too. See, I'll pin something together and then I baste it. I waste a lot of thread, and I'm pretty sure it might be common for hand sewing. But I will pin it together and then I will baste it together. And what I mean by basting, if you don't know, is, and you can't see because I used white. Maybe you can see. You just sew it. Use that as pins. Now, it's nowhere near a guideline to a straight line. What I do is I stick my finger behind here and I go with my needle really close to the last stitch. And then I make the stitch. And that's how I get close. Because I'm not going to get straight lines. And I don't know how other people do that. But it'll be close to a straight line. Which I understand will probably make lumpy clothes. They're not going to have the crisp lines that you do from a sewing machine. I've explained in the past, me and sewing machines are just not best friends. But I also don't mind stabbing things 10,000 times. I would probably do really good in embroidery, but embroidery is pretty. And I might learn some of the stitches because this has patterns on it. And wouldn't that be pretty embroidered? But I prefer to not paint the picture, but make the canvas, which to me would be a dress or something like that. So I also don't mind hand sewing because, again, it keeps my hands busy. It's different than it's a different motion than crocheting. I'm still creating. And by all means, what I could do, and I probably will do with that dress, is take all the things apart that I put on it already. Because as you can see, I cannot cut very well either. But that all works out when you make a seam. What I might do is take that whole thing apart, that whole dress apart, all the seams out of it, and crochet around it. Like the sleeve and everything. Crochet around the whole thing. Why not? It's just experimenting anyway, and what's going to happen? It'll end up in the scraps box. And the scraps box is important to me because certain little plastic beings don't need that much cloth, but you get pretty cloth. So, I'm not just crocheting some of those either. What I did is printed some out, patterns, and I saved, when I was cutting my pattern out, I think I remember Mom doing this. I saved these. So I can trace onto it, so I can actually have patterns. And I measured them up against my model, my mannequin, and they seem to be pretty true to size. You guys, I threatened her the other day with a really bad threat, and I didn't even really mean it. My mannequin, because she wouldn't sit on the shelf, so I started telling her really bad threats, and I can't say it on here because it sounded really ignorant, especially. It just sounded really ignorant. But I'm glad it was just a mannequin I said it to. I don't have... You know, it was 78 degrees yesterday. Whew! It's supposed to be 78 degrees again today. And the day before yesterday. Man, wake up, throat. Maybe I should... I'm going to tell you, that weather being 78 degrees like that, man. Next week, there's going to be snow on the ground. That's just my prediction. They were all going, Michigan already got its first snow. And I was like, yeah, where? And they said, up across. I was like, yeah, huh. I already said that to you in another video, I think. One of my favorite jokes. Where did it snow? Up across. Yeah, okay. Whatever. I hope you're having a good day. Or I hope you're waking up and gonna have a good day. I hope you had your coffee already. And I hope it's just shining down on you, the sunshine this morning. It's starting to shine on me too. I see it out there, and Mr. had his voice in it already. Man, I was out there trying to make sounds for my outro. And then people were over there going, F this and F you and F and I don't effing care, and just screeching and hooting and making a lot of swear word noise like I used to. And I was like, wow, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. You know what I'm doing is I'm just crocheting these ends in so they don't bother me when I stick my hand in the pocket. Because I'd rather them be crocheted in and then than be cut too short. So that's what I'm doing. I'm crocheting in the thing. I haven't heard from Mom and Dad in a couple of days. Hope they're doing okay. I know I seem like I'm in their butt. But I'm not trying to be in their butt. I'm trying to be in their cleanliness. Help them out. Oh, well, I guess that's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles today. There we go. Now I have to sew it, tie it back on, and start sewing again. I need to find my roll. I found it. I like to use this stuff. And this is for lace. I'm going to tell you something. People think they can do this stuff, and then you find like rolls of this in the resale shop, and it's like, and yeah, I can do this stuff. You saw that I can do this stuff. You saw the orange thing. I made a simple, pretty granny square, which goes with 11-inch plastic. But that's out of the embroidery floss. But I can still do the little stuff. Needle. There we go. The reason I like to use that stuff is because I could use a needle with a bigger with a bigger eye in it. I poke your eye out with a piece of thread. Oh. Dubious Maximus. I think I've shortened it to Maximus. What are you doing, Maximus? Like I said, it says sir for a reason. Because boy, with the way she is, man, that's a yes, sir. Woo. I thought Charlie was a crazy little kitten. Man, she was. It was so bad that people in my house were like, that's a bad cat. No, it wasn't a bad cat. It's just she had her own ways. And that's the way it is. My cat is a Leo. If you believe in star signs and stuff like that. She's a Leo. Squeaky's a Sagittarius. And I honestly think Dubious Maximus, I think she is either Aries or Taurus. I got her in May. But they have to be about 6 weeks. So she's either an Aries or a Taurus. And I know both of them. My niece and grandnephew are Tauruses. I call them Taurasses. And my mom is an Aries. And my dad is a Sagittarius. So the Leo, my daughter Jade is a Leo. But I don't, as far as I know, she's a beautiful, sweet person. I have another idea. I have another few ideas for a dress. The darker button-down shirt that I didn't know if it was a boy or girl's shirt until I buttoned it down. And the butterfly skirt that made me look fat. I think somebody folded over a piece of material and scrunched up a piece of elastic inside there. And if I take that apart and I cut it in the right way, it could itself be a dress. But like take the top off of that and sew that onto, well, there's alterations that need to be done. Like put a curve in the side because that's a man's shirt and it looks boxy on me. So does my yellow dad shirt, but that's my yellow dad shirt. And that's not going to be fixed. But that's another idea. But all that's still in the drawer uncut because I'm working on this one. I keep trying to tell myself, Aunt T, 1 or 2 projects at a time. 1 crochet project, 1 sewing project. Other than that, you're going to get overwhelmed. Everything's going to get stacked up on your bed. You're going to have nowhere to lay down. I have to turn that fan off. Oh. That's the one over there. I have to get up to do that. So, I'm over here. Auntie. But, that's how I have to work, how I have to think about it. I have the thought in my head, but I also know I have other projects I need done, and that's not getting it done. And it's going to be nothing but wadded up and thrown somewhere if I can't get it right. So, it's an idea. I'm trying to get a vlog out to you, but somebody's actually decided it's cuddle time. Right now she's just having her bath on a cushiony, soft spot that feels like mommy. This is not a very comfortable position, but my cats have been being weird lately, so I guess I'm spoiling them rotten. Did you expect anything less from your auntie? For real, people. Oh, holy puff, get it. Oh, get at it, LaPuff. Clean that face, you dirty cat. Clean yourself. Oh, your dubious Maximus back there playing. She's dubious. I chose it to be This is the longest nickname I've ever given a cat. Dubious Maximus the Turd. I took the turd off the end of my dad's name. He says he's the third, so he's deterred. So Dubious Maximus deterred. Even though she's not the third, she's a turd. Charlie Puff, Mama's neck is getting a cramp from sitting here like this. She's happy. Check this out, guys. This is what I've been doing with those cat food containers. I have to throw them out anyway. Now, I am using a 5-gallon bucket, and I have to stop for a second. See, there's the empties. I'm using a 5-gallon bucket. It's going to rain soon. So I just washed my hair, and I just put product in it. I use a 5-gallon bucket because it has that handle, and they're usually sturdy, and you can put a lot of stuff in them. So I take the whole kit caboodle out to the trash when that's full, tie it up, pick it up with the handle on the bucket, and dump the tied bag in there. So, oh my goodness, did I forget you guys? I'm sorry. You guys, I found those pockets that I lost. They're attached to the other dress I was sewing that I have to figure out. Dubious Maximus. Now, I was using my fingers to do this, but her claws can go through that tent material. So there's the kitten I know. Are you stuck? Are you stuck? Ah! Woo! That's the power of that nanotape, you guys. He's really giving it. That's why I might have to Temu and just get some more of the nanotape, because you know what? That's the only place I can find it that's cheap. I don't want a Temu. I really don't. But they're like, I don't know, very expensive. Well, they're very expensive if you go on Temu too, to tell you the truth, because then you have to bundle everything up, and then you're like all of a sudden $50 for a $3 item you thought you were getting. So all right, Dubious, time for you to have some free play. You play by yourself for a minute, okay? Yeah, you play by yourself for a minute. Mama gonna go outside. Every time I come out here, he has to make his appearance. So I left the raincoat. Oh, the 5-gallon bucket. Did I finish that sentence? Because I was in the middle of feeding those cats, and I had that thought in my head, and that looks great. And I don't remember if I finished it. But that's my trash can, because it's easier if I have it filled up. Can I carry that to the trash? And if it gets weak, then it doesn't get weak between me and the receptor, because it's in the bucket. So it's just an old lady hack. One of these days I'm going to have one of those pulley deals from my door to my trash can. I don't have to take the trash out. I just stick it on the bucket and pulley it down there. You know what I found out? And I wonder if it's a bad thing or not. But you know how I was having a hard time carrying my bike up my stairs? I actually left it on and used the... Oh, come on, Trusty, you know this word. And used the throttle to make it go up the stairs. The last step was the only one that we had an issue with. And I was like, yes! It'd probably be easier or better if I had a ramp. But it climbed those stairs. I was like, that's pretty cool. Oh, let's see what's going on with our guest. You haven't seen him in 2 days. Let's see here. The way it glistens. Wow. I'm going to have to look at that picture later, because that is so pretty from the way I'm looking at it. That seam around the top looks like gold. It's really pretty. Really pretty. I should have brought my coffee out here and had it on the porch. Didn't think of that. Man, it's pretty out here, even though everything looks like it's going to sleep. It is. It is going to sleep. It's time for hibernation. Except for the bees and the bugs. guy just took some amazing photos. I looked really close at it. I didn't touch it. I didn't touch it. I don't want to touch it. But I looked really... This looks like it's encrusted in glitter, like gold glitter. I wish I could get that. But I can see the wings inside of there. That's ready to pop. Because I also see, like, it's protruding in the front like a belly. And it looks like he's ready to come out pretty soon. Yay! I told you we'd watch a butterfly be born. I guess live, I said, but that is so... Like, I looked over there, I was like, oh, I can't see it. But there's a plastic chair in the way. I was walking down the road and there was a sign over top of these chairs. Free. So I took them. And now they live on my porch. And they may be living in my living room. In the winter. Because they're supposed to be outdoor, deck chairs and stuff like that. And they have been used for outdoor. And you can tell when I need to wipe them down with some bleach. That's one thing. Oh, maybe I need to get a gallon of white vinegar is what I need to do. Wipe them down with that. I really don't like using bleach. And I really don't like using it in the house with the cats. They've already been sick. I had Puff today. She was on me for her love fest, finally. She was begging me to pay attention to her. I'm like, well, come over to the bed. And she didn't go over on her own. I picked her up and took her over there, and she made sure Mommy knew she loved her still. And Dubious is back to playing. And Squeaky's back to... Well, he hasn't gotten his full roar back. But it just seems with those fish medicines that none of them are having digestive issues. And I think a lot of his issue had been digestion. So he's not having tummy owies, so he doesn't have to howl like that anymore. He is persistent on, I get that food yesterday to him, but he's basically back to being squeaky. I mean, they're still timid about the floor, but they're getting there. They're getting there. So, if nothing else, that stuff helps with their tummy and nutrition. I am so enjoying these days. Can you tell? This is just perfect weather for me. Except for it does get up to like 80 degrees, like closer to the evening, and it's like, whew. And then all of a sudden it drops down to like 40. I'm like, okay. I'm so pleased with that garden. It's weird. It's so weird. I enhanced the one photo because I saw wings in it. And then I sent it to Pam because I'm like, look, I can see wings. But if you look down in the corner, if you can pause your video, if you look down in the corner, you can see its face too. Pam says, isn't it awfully late this season for that? I said, I don't know. Maybe she's just a late bloomer. Oh, but it's just grand. Oh, I love that. I've always loved butterflies, though. I've always thought they were beautiful. I've loved butterflies more than I love more than I love flowers. Flowers, they sit there, and they are pretty. And I do love flowers, but they sit there. Butterflies, they fly, they flutter, they float. I wonder where they go. I wonder what they do. Oh, to ride on a butterfly's back. That was just such a wonderful discovery. Wow. Means something. Wow. All right. It's a beautiful day. I have my mind on sewing for right now. My cats are being decent. It's time to say thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye.